Rock and Roll Reviews, and I'm here in Glasgow with Ben from Goatwhore.
Hell yeah, pretty good.
Good, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. You guys are on a fairly hefty tour with Dying Fetus at the moment.
Yeah, pretty lengthy tour, pretty hefty tour. Yeah, we have Dying Fetus, us, Malevolence, Fallujah. It's been going really good, good. Yeah.
The crowd's been pretty active and
Yeah.
Nice.
Last night was really crazy. I mean, every night's been really good crowd-wise. Like attendance, it's been pretty fucking packed, and everybody's been into the whole thing. So, and I mean, this is like our fourth time, like in the UK and Europe and everything. Yeah. But I think this is definitely one of the better tours that we've done, just because Dying Fetus really has a good draw out here. You know, they've done a lot of tours out here and everything, so they definitely bring in a crowd. So it puts us in a position to get in front of a lot more people than in the past, which is awesome.
Yeah. You've been to Scotland before?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Do you get a chance to go out and check the city out, or?
Not too often. I mean, usually it's like you're in and then you're unloading stuff and you walk around and everything. I'll probably walk around a little more later tonight when we're done. Yeah. When you're waiting to leave and everything, you usually kind of take a stroll too.
Yeah. Your most recent album came out earlier this year, Constricting Rage of the Merciless.
Yes.
Firstly, can you explain to us what your writing process is for your albums, and did anything change with this new one compared to your previous release?
No, if anything changes, I think it's just the skill involved in how we construct songs and how we're more like anal about what we use and stuff like that, and what passes and what doesn't. Where maybe in the past we let some things slide that later on we're like, oh, we should have kind of changed this and things like that. But I guess it's just things you learn as a musician as you're going. But as far as the whole writing structure, it's always been the same. Sammy has a bunch of riffs, whatever. Like back in the day, we used to just have tapes. He had tapes and tapes of riffs, just a jam box, and he would record riffs. And then we were listening to all of them, and now we, in the modern era, and we started dropping all the riffs into a computer. Then we have like catalogs of all these riffs. And the unique thing about it is when we write, we'll go through all these riffs and we'll find riffs that were from like our first record that we never used, or maybe the third record that we never used. So they're all still in there, and they kind of intermingle even when we write the newer material. Because sometimes maybe a riff just doesn't have that point in a song, and it doesn't get there until later on when you're writing, and everything kind of falls into place and it works. And so we do that, and we throw the riffs around, put them in, and then start getting the drums over it, and then the bass comes in, and then I put all the vocals and lyrics over everything.
So do you get a chance to do anything on tour, or do you wait till you're off tour to do that?
We don't really, On tour, it's usually just like go, drink, play, everybody gets sick, drink, play, and then that's it. And then you get home, you're like, all right, I want to see you for like a month, and then a week passes, like, all right, let's go on a room and jam, So that's like the cycle. It's always the same. So I think at points we had ideas, to write on tour. And I mean, if Sammy comes up with a riff on tour, we can take the phone and be like, okay, let's hear that. Okay, cool. So we'll keep it and we'll have it later on. But we don't really sit down, focus, and put things together and stuff like that.
Okay. With your new album, you worked with Eric Rutan, is that how you pronounce his name? And I believe, I read online that you recorded direct to analog with this.
Yes,
is that right?
On tape.
What was the kind of thoughts behind that? Was something that Eric came up with, or was it something?
It was something Sammy and I had talked about, and Sammy was real adamant about it, and Eric has a machine, The funny thing is, and I always say this in interviews now, is because his machine that he has history. He bought it from Mars Sound Studios.
Okay.
And Mars Sound used it along with another machine back in the day to do all the fucking legendary death metal records. Morbid Angel, Suffocation, all these records. So it has history to it. He's almost like, Rutan's almost like the Dave Grohl of like death metal or something like that. You know what I'm saying? He's like, because he has this machine, but he hadn't used it in like 6 or 8 years. Like 6 to 8 years, somewhere up in there. And we were just like, we want to do it to tape this time. And Sammy was just like, well, look, this is the deal. We're going to do it to tape, but we're not doing it with you at all. He kind of just threw it out there to him. But Rutan was like, no, it's good. We'll do this. The only thing with it is nowadays is tape. There's a company that makes tape, but it's questionable because they don't have the correct formula that, that the way it used to be made. And then you have to find old tapes, whether they were used or unused, and then cross your fingers that they've lasted this long and that they're all intact. And we did it, and everything worked out. I think it adds a little bit more stress through the duration of getting it before you can drop it into Pro Tools, because anything could happen. The tape could rip, something could happen, something doesn't record right, and you're using like 4 reels to do a whole record, because you can only fit like 15 minutes or so on each reel, or even less than that, maybe like 12 minutes. So you do like 2 or 3 songs on a reel, then you change over to a new reel, and so through that whole time you're just kind of like, you have this monkey on your back, like, let's get this shit done and then drop it into Pro Tools, But we wanted it because there's a tone you get with tape, like from the drums and from the guitars and everything like that you don't really get, in digital format. I don't think they perfected it yet, or maybe they don't really care. I don't really know. I'm not like a genius with all that kind of stuff. But
it's kind of like vinyl and CD. There's a difference. You can hear the difference in vinyl compared to.
Well, it's like too, like the guitar thing nowadays. Like some people use like Kemper, Axe Effects type stuff, and then some people still use heads and cabinets. And the argument there is, with a cabinet you're miking it up, so you're getting that tone. Where with the Axe Effects and the Kemper, it's just like a sound, it's emulated sound, but it doesn't give the reality of like it coming through a speaker. So, and you know what, it's really about the ear, because a lot of people don't notice it, and some people do, but I guess pretty much the basis of it is what the band really wants. And and we want more of an organic, natural sound, and that's what we wanted to do with this record, and go to tape and everything with that. I mean, because we still use heads, cabinets, all that stuff. When we tour, we have, it's one guitar player, but we have a full stack and a full stack, and he runs both of them, so it's like blaring through. So, and we have the big bass rig and all that stuff, so we do it in a traditional kind of way.
Definitely, in the last kind of 4 or 5 years, there's been a lot more bands pushing towards that kind of digital sound, slightly kind of over-processed sound. But
I think the thing about it though too is, in fairness as well, is that the way it is with Pro Tools, to be able to do that cuts a lot of time. And budgets for bands are a lot smaller nowadays, just because of the industry and how, whatever people want to say about downloading and all that, the money's just not there. So doing it that way is a quicker means with a smaller budget. So that kind of falls into the perspective too, because some bands just don't have the budget to do that. I mean, for tape we have to pull extra money out, to pay for the reels and things like that. So it's a little bit extra more time. So it's like, all right, so we got to up that, but that's what we really wanted, so we're willing to put up some extra money for things like that. We spoke about this earlier actually. There's been, this year in particular, there's been a lot of bands doing that kind of natural sound, with just miking up the amps rather than using these like the Axe Effects or whatever. We've heard a lot more of that. Especially. I think too, it depends on the band too. There's some bands that are more, how do I put it? I want to say like epic sounding, kind of like a Devin Townsend kind of thing, where it seems like the Kemper type thing works better in that kind of environment. And then there's bands like us per se, where we're more, organic, but like straight up guitar, bass, drums, vocals, just chaos, and it's that format. So I think it depends on the bands and the individuals and how they want to project what they're doing as well. This year we've had like a ridiculous amount of albums sent in for review this year, but have you heard anything yourself this year from other bands that you've really liked? Any other albums that's kind of caught your attention this year? I really like Valenfire. I've been talking about them a bunch lately, man. I mean, there's a lot of bands I'd listen to and everything like that. It's just that record, Splinters, that Valenfire put out was just like, I was like, holy shit, man. It was like immense to me. Well, I mean, when I grew up, listening to a lot of shit like Bolt Thrower and Paradise Lost and things like that. And then when I had the first record, Fragile King, and then when, I was just stoked about this one coming out. When it came out, I was just like, holy shit. Especially the dudes involved. They're kind of older dudes that have been in the earlier days of death metal, and sometimes you're like, oh, those guys are involved, but do they still have it? Do they still have that, that hunger, that grittiness that the old death metal was like? And when I listen to them, I'm like, holy shit, these dudes, definitely has it. And it's really unique too how Gregor, like, he kind of started because his father died, and it was like this thing that he had to do, and you can tell that he put so much into it, and then everyone else just follows suit that's involved with the band too. So I'm just really into it because I really like the tones and everything that everything that comes out. His voice is awesome, all the tones they get, like when I try to explain it to people, and some people are just like, I don't know if you explain it like this, but I was like, it reminds me of like Carnage Dark Recollections meets Paradise Lost Lost Paradise, just because of the way it sounds and the heaviness of it.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
So that's a really good record. There's other stuff too, but everything just, there's so, like you said, there's so much shit that comes out, and you're just like, oh shit, what about this? What about this? The new Fallujah record I really like too, man. That one's fucking really awesome.
Yeah.
I like everything. I mean, they put on a great show too, the way they project themselves and everything like that. But their record, we were out on Summer Slaughter with them, and I watched them a few shows, and then I got the CD from them, and I was like, wow, I really like how this is and how it flows. But then when you tour with them and you see their influences, it's unique, because then it starts to blend and you understand, you know, why they're doing what they're doing, and how they, you know, how they make everything come to be.
Cool. Our website covers everything. Music's like rock, metal, punk and stuff, but we also cover movies as well. Are you a big movie fan? Do you get a chance?
I am. I just don't really have a lot of time. No. Like when I'm at home, I work a lot, so it's like when we tour in the States, we have our own van and trailer, and I do a lot of stuff with the band. Like I drive a bunch and play the show, and I'll organize merch shit and stuff like that. And then when I get home, I go straight into work, and I work fucking relentlessly when I'm not on tour to kind of keep ahead in case things don't work out financially. And so a lot of times I don't get to see everything I want to get to see, and sometimes I get out on the road and I watch stuff, but it's stuff that's older that I haven't got to. I think this time, since I've been out, I've watched Prometheus 3 times. And I've watched a Guy Ritchie movie, Rock'n'Rolla. I watched that like 2 times. But I've watched that like numerous times in the past too. I like how Guy Ritchie, I like how he breaks up things in his movies, so there's a lot of different things. But there's a bunch of shit I want to see. I got a list when I get home, because January I have kind of open just a little bit, so I think I'm gonna try to catch up on a bunch of shit then. Music wise, movie wise, you know, life wise in general.
So after this tour finishes, finishing off in Europe, Germany, what's next for Goatwhore? What's
right now we're working on a thing. Like a couple of weeks in Australia in March.
Awesome. And
then possibly coming over here in April with Skeleton Witch, and then we definitely coming over near the end of May to do Temples Festival.
Awesome.
So, and then hopefully from there, you know, other things will unfold and move along. And maybe we'll start sitting down and writing some stuff together, getting some things going. We have some little plans too in January and February that involve writing, but I don't really want to, you know, open that door just yet. It's kind of like I don't want to jinx it, per se.
Awesome. Ben, thanks very much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Look forward to the show, and good luck with the rest of the tour.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Break these lines,